Good morning. My name is Rob Rupp. I'm a solution engineer for the Service Cloud with Salesforce, and today we're going to be looking at Salesforce's Service Cloud, and in particular, social customer service and live agent. So let's go ahead and get started this morning by tweeting as a customer to the bank. So we're going to start here with a quick tweet to our demo org. And let's just use an example of a customer who's shopping for a loan for a new car. So this tweet is going to go not only to the Twitter account that we're using for the demo, but because of the integration between Salesforce and Twitter, directly into the same user interface that we'll be using as an agent to respond to the live chat request that the customer responds to. So let's go ahead and see what this is going to look like. So this is our Salesforce user interface, and this is a list of cases that we have received from Twitter. We can also manage channels from other social media websites such as Facebook, Pinterest, etc. And we also have some tools across the bottom here that will enable us to serve this customer regardless of the channel that they choose to service from. We have phone integrations. This is our live agent channel. I'm just going to log in really quickly for our demo today. And then we can also embed and create some other tools that will help agents to resolve customer issues faster and more accurately. So let's go ahead and check out what this customer had asked us via Twitter. So let's open up the case. And from here, we can see the conversation that that this customer has initiated with us. We can see that they're buying a new car and that they've asked us for some help with a loan. We can also see information about the case here on the left, other parts of the conversation from Twitter that this customer has had with the bank up to date, as well as some knowledge articles that can help the agent to understand more quickly answer the customer's questions in real time. So we have here a suggested article about how to apply for a car loan, so we can give the customer some pre-approved text about what that process might be like. Now, here within what we call the feed view of the case, we can see the interactions that we can have that are directly tied to the Twitter API. So for example, we can reply to the tweet, we can favorite the tweet, retweet, follow, etc. Right? So everything that we would be able to do in our Twitter account, we can do via Salesforce. The difference being that we maintain a record of that conversation and interaction with that customer here in Salesforce instead. So we can reply to the customer, and we can use some quick text to ensure that we can provide faster and more consistent service while we do that. And we can use the same quick text functionality to actually augment and to facilitate our live chat conversations, which we'll see in a few minutes as well. So here we've just asked this customer to click a link to chat with us so that we can have a more private or offline conversation with them about their loan requests. And we can tweet that back out to the customer. And we can then see all of this in the view that we have with the customer here in Salesforce. So what does this look like from the customer's point of view, and then how will they initiate that live agent or live chat request? So let's go in and take a look. So here within Salesforce or within Twitter, we can see this conversation with the customer. We can see that we got this notification and the invitation from the bank to have that conversation. Let's just open this up real quick and have a look. And here's a link to a live chat request. So I'm going to open this up in a new window, and we'll see that the agent is being connected with this customer in real time. I'm just going to shrink this down a little bit so that we can actually look at this with the agent view at the same time. Excuse me while I play with the mouse and get that sized appropriately. There we go. So I can hop over here. Here's that chat request waiting. I have some information specifically about that chat request, so I kind of have an indication of who it is, maybe what they want to talk about before I hit the accept button. And everything immediately pops up here. Now, I'm going to resize this window for just a few minutes while we go through the initial phases of this demo, so that you can kind of see all of the functionality and how it works. Shrink this one a little bit more. Okay. All right. So the first thing, we're here in the customer or the user interface for the customer support agent, and we can do a couple of things. I want to point out a few things here really quickly. One is, if we don't know who the chat is from, and we can have a chat form that requests some information from the customer ahead of time, we can very quickly either create a new record for that customer, or search our database for an existing content. That's what we can do here really easily. So we've been able to locate that customer, and now we can tie this chat to that customer record. If this customer were to become abusive, or we had some reason to believe that they were not who they said that they were, we can also block that customer and even give a reason why we chose to block that customer individually here from the user interface. And then we also have details about the chat. We can see what IP address the chat originated from, as well as what kind of browser they're using, the time. We can, if they're accessing the chat button through one of the bank's websites, we can see the pages within your domain that they viewed before they actually requested the chat. In this case, since it's coming from Twitter, it doesn't really apply, but we allow you to capture quite a bit of information here that you can then use in reporting, understanding the usefulness and effectiveness of the channel, things like that. And we can also really quickly create a record in order to document the subject of what we were talking about with this customer. And this is really just sort of helpful in terms of understanding what the customer was inquiring about, and what steps do we take to help that customer to resolve their issue. All right, so now that we kind of just covered some basics around what this interaction is going to look like with the customer, let's look at this from the point of view, the actual user experience of both the customer and the agent. So the first thing I want to point out here is that the customer, as they're typing information here, you can see that the information is showing up in gray and italics over here on the left. This is the customer service view, and this is called preview, and this gives us really sort of a couple of advantages as a support agent. One, I have some idea what the customer is asking before they actually hit the send button, so I can anticipate an answer. And it also helps me to understand what kind of mood the customer is in. If they were to be have second thoughts about something that they were typing, and then maybe they were upset and they decided to tone it down a little bit, I could see that and kind of adjust my language as such. But really the most important thing is being able to anticipate the type of question or answer that is needed. So once the customer hits send over here, we notice that the chat button lights up. This is to help your agent, if they're managing more than one chat at a time, to know that they need to move back to this chat in order to respond. And we saw this text convert from gray italics to kind of like black block lettering. Okay, now there's some things that we provide to enable the functionality of this of the chat channel to make it more productive and a better experience for customers. So one thing is, again, the use of knowledge. So if I click on this article, how to apply for a car loan, you'll see that we have a number of different fields listed here and completed. Some internal comments, some information about the procedure for how to apply for a loan. And then we have this field called a chat answer. And this is essentially a shortcut to a longer prepared text that agents can use to respond to customers who have a specific question and when a knowledge article has been provided for their use. And it's simply shared by using this drop down in the share button. As you can see, it fills in the agent field, and we can send that to the customer. And like I said, this helps to ensure fast and easy responses for longer, more complicated answers. Okay. So that's one way that we facilitate the conversation with customers. Another is by using quick text. So very much like what we did when we responded to the tweet with a quick text inviting the customer to chat, we can use quick text and a closing, for example. You can use a greeting, any sort of responses that you think you will repeat more on a regular basis, you can use via quick text. And these quick texts can be shared across the organization so that you can have a set of texts or shortcuts that everyone would be expected to use. And you can also give your users the ability to create some personalized quick text for an opening and closing so that the customer experiences some of the individuality of your agents, and it doesn't feel like they're speaking to a robot. So, what we've done here, just to kind of summarize, is we've responded to a customer's inquiry with an invitation to chat. That customer opened that chat invitation, and we've been able to have a conversation with that customer, and we facilitated that conversation with a couple of different productivity enhancements or shortcuts such as quick text and chat fields. We've also demonstrated how easy it is to locate customer information and attach it, as well as to block customers who we think are being abusive or are perhaps a security threat or a risk to the company. Now, just a couple other things in terms of how we tie all of this together for the bank and for our customers. We can close the case that we opened. We can also close the chat that we just had with this customer. We, of course, want to end the chat first. And by ending the chat, that's automatically going to save a copy of that transcript, which we'll see in just a minute. So we're going to go to this customer's record, the account. And here we can see all of the chat transcripts from the various chats that we've had with this customer over a period of time. Here's the one we had today. And then this is also in context of all of the conversations that we've had with this customer. So for example, we can see all of the conversations that we had with this customer via Twitter, as well as by phone or by live agent. Now, all of this is great. It's a useful tool for being able to communicate back and forth with your customers. But as managers, you also want to know how effective this channel is being for you. And we provide you the ability to be able to measure that with dashboards and reports. So everything within Salesforce is available for reporting via reports and dashboards. The dashboard we're looking at now, each of these components is actually a summary or a review of an underlying report. So we can see things and measure metrics like first contact resolution, cases by channel, how many interactions are we having with customers via our social media, Twitter, Facebook, interest, Instagram, etc. And how many chats have we had with customers. So we can see that we've had 8. We can also measure and report on the productivity and workload of our agents who are supporting customers in this channel. So I hope this video is helpful to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and let us know what we can do to help. Thank you very much.